Hello, everyone. My name is Cannon Kemp, and whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right, says the famous Henry Ford, which leads to the topic of discussion for today, self-fulfilling prophecy. Self-fulfilling prophecy proves that what we consistently believe about ourselves directly shapes our actions, our confidence, and ultimately our results. The group and I felt it was beneficial to learn about this prophecy to deepen our knowledge as well as share the knowledge that we have gained. Personally, I feel credible due to my baseball career, as I am a part of the 0.5% of high school players to get drafted into the MLB. During that time, all the odds were stacked against me, which leads to my mental status. Today, my fellow group members will share their research by providing a textbook example as well as information they accumulated from other credible sources.
So, what does self fulfilling prophecy actually mean? According to our textbook, self fulfilling prophecies are thought and action patterns in which a person's false belief triggers a behavior that makes the initial false belief actually or seemingly come true. This concept was originally developed to study social inequality and discrimination, but has been used frequently in interpersonal communication studies. The textbook also states that thinking positive thoughts and focusing on personality strengths can stop the negative cycle of thinking and has been shown to have positive effects on many different aspects of our lives. Self affirmations are one way of increasing positive outcomes. Another article written by Peter Angood states a self fulfilling prophecy is a psychosociological phenomenon whereby one expects something and eventually experiences the realization of this expectation simply because one anticipates it, and one's consequent conduct aligns to fulfill the original expectation. These expectations can be self imposed or imposed by others. Simply put, our thoughts can change our outcome. Even though our definition of a situation may be incorrect, our false definition can trigger a new behavior which can actually make the false definition come true. Now that we understand the definition of self-fulfilling prophecy, let's take a look at an example with John.
A pattern of thinking can lead to a pattern of behavior, and this pattern of behavior reinforces that pattern of thinking. This is according to our textbook, and this is in reference to self-fulfilling prophecies. And now that we've had the definition of a self-fulfilling prophecy, let's look at a few examples of a self-fulfilling prophecy. In my research, I found that a self-fulfilling prophecy is also akin to an idea called the Pygmalion effect. This was first discovered by Dr. Robert Rosenthal in 1968. And he figured this out by asking a group of researchers to coach two different groups of rats through a maze. The first group, he told the researchers, had been bred for this purpose. They were very good at the maze and they'd likely do much better than group two, which were just regular rats and, as he put it, not very bright. And as expected, the rats that were bred for the purpose did better than the rats that weren't very bright. Well, later that year, he went to an elementary school and he administered an IQ test. And of the IQ test, he took the brightest students and let their teachers know that these particular students were what he referred to as intellectual bloomers, that they were going to be very smart. So, as one might expect, these children who were already predisposed to being intelligent did much better than their peers at the end of the year when Dr. Rosenthal returned to the school to re-administer the test. The kicker on both things is he was lying. The rats were both the same. They weren't bred for a different purpose. They were just regular rats. And the children that he told the teachers were particularly bright weren't any more bright than their peers. So what does this mean? It means that expectation, not only for ourselves, but others for us, can dictate our outcome. An example of this would be shown in the media that I'm going to play for you.
I'll never get married, says Duck. So Duck don't bother talking to others, leaves texts on read, avoids dating. Years go by, Duck still single. This is the self-fulfilling prophecy. Duck made his own prediction come true.
As you can see, our ideas for ourselves typically frame how our experience will be. So whether the expectation comes from us or from others, it manifests in the same passion. Thank you. That was my word.
As we wrap up our presentation, think back to the quote we started with. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. That simple idea really captures what self-fulfilling prophecy is all about. First, we talked about the definition of self-fulfilling prophecy and how a belief, even if it starts out false, can influence the way someone acts. Then we looked at research that shows how expectations, both from ourselves and from others, can affect confidence, effort, and performance. We also discussed how these beliefs can shape real outcomes in everyday life. What really shows that our expectations have real power. The thoughts we repeat to ourselves shape our attitudes, our actions, and eventually our results. When people believe they can succeed, they're more likely to put in the effort to keep pushing forward to make that a reality. So next time you're facing a challenge, remember, the way you look about yourself matters. Like the quote says, whether you believe you can or believe you can't, you're already helping shape the outcome. Thank you.